Okay, welcome to episode 926 of the Clutch Kick. In case you missed us, we had a lot of episodes during the week that you can probably catch up on. Just need to look up on Apple. Was it? No, they don't have iTunes. No, it's on iTunes and Google Podcasts and Spotify and all the other
Casts,
yeah,
things.
yeah. Anyway,
Oh,
I'm
but we've also
yeah.
got that Netflix series coming out too. Don't forget about that.
Yes, been working on that for ages. Finally coming out.
But we're hoping to crack Disney Plus soon too.
Oh man.
It's a whole new world.
Are people actually signing up for that? I have no idea.
No idea.
Okay. All right.
Maybe I'll use my 7-day trial over
actually,
over the Christmas break.
is Mandalorian on Disney Plus?
I don't know what's that.
You don't know what it is, really?
No.
Okay.
Star Wars is on it.
Yeah, it's Star Wars.
Oh, the whole. I'm pretty sure everything Star Wars is on there.
Mandalorian. It's about the bounty hunters.
Yeah, no idea.
And some other Yoda-looking thing, but a baby. You must have seen all the memes on Facebook or Instagram about it. No, it's okay. Never mind.
Awkward.
Anyway.
Why do we have I'm gonna have to go in and try and admin remove that. Thanks, Logan.
Why?
Or do I pin the comment?
You can use it for later.
Yeah, I think I can remember that one.
Okay.
Mate, Logan, be careful with some of your posts, or you're gonna end up in the bin like the dude with the green and yellow R33.
You'll get it in a little while. Anyway, I am one of your hosts, EG, and in full screen is Greg, because Skype still is being funny, so I can't figure out. I've been trying to try.
You've been trying to try and fix it.
Yeah, but so what I've been doing in the past is just reinstalling it. What I downloaded like 2 years ago, and that seemed to work, but now it doesn't seem to work. It just keeps updating.
So we just got to see my beautiful face in the bigger form.
Yep.
Because we're crazy prepared as always, there's been some sort of local releases and all that sort of stuff coming out. Did you end up catching up on the FIA stuff? I still have not.
And I watched half of the top 16 or 32.
Yep.
I'm not sure. Man, there was a lot of offs. It seems like it's better than the first one, like the very first one 3 years ago.
Yep.
But I don't know. And then the broadcasting at the start was not very good. They almost missed the first battle, and it just didn't seem well polished. Turn your mic down a bit, Greg. You're a bit loud.
That would be from your end, EG.
From my end, okay. Okay. See how that goes. I'll turn it down a little bit.
But doesn't everybody want to hear my lovely voice?
I'll turn it down a bit more. No, a bit more. There we go. How's that?
Yeah, I haven't caught up on it yet, but I think next year's the year that it gets re-tendered, I guess, because that's 3 years now, right?
Yeah, it is 3 years. And it'll be interesting to see what happens.
I wonder if they'll just end up running it alongside that Motorsport Olympic thing instead.
Oh, is that what was on like a month ago?
Yeah.
Ugh.
No, I know it's not great, but it would make more sense for it to be that. But I guess we wait and see.
Yeah, besides that, didn't really see very much.
Yeah.
I think the Japanese have an edge, or whoever, actually, because I think the Russians also run DOS, but any any person that actually has used DOS, they've got an edge in that competition. So
Especially in those sections where they've only got the sort of barriers to mark where they want you doing that entry, right? Because you sort of can do your own thing and probably rack up a heap of points in those sections before you end up in the sections with sort of zones.
yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. I saw the zone, so I think they were talking about having a sort of mixed DOS
Yeah,
and
traditional.
human, judging. But I don't know exactly how it worked out because I never watched the introduction.
Yeah.
I just went straight into the battles.
Yeah, I guess we wait and see what they do with it next year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From the battles
But
I saw, they looked like they were the correct result, I guess.
Yeah.
So it was pretty clear because they just kept coming, came off the track, or they just didn't really drift very well.
Yeah, fair enough. That's sort of what happens when it's a fairly open thing like that, I guess. I guess let's hit some local stuff. Well, this is closer for us really, but Australian Drift Club has announced their dates for next year. Check out their social media stuff, but also stay up to date with them because I know they've just announced stuff for Eastern Creek, but I know that the club is working on, definitely working on some Wakefield dates, and potentially some Pheasantwood dates as well. But I
In
think,
addition to what they posted.
yes, in addition to what
Okay.
they've posted. So yeah, just keep an eye out on their socials because alongside that is Revolution Motorsports put out their dates for next year, and they've got only one Wakefield Day, so another club coming in doing Wakefield Day will probably end up being a fairly popular thing. But the reason for the drop back to only one Wakefield date is costs have gone up again. My understanding is the fact that they're in the legal fight with the council, and that's being passed along fairly heavily to clubs and organisations who hire the venue. So Revolution's got their dates out. They've got 4 days, but two open days and a 2-day event in September, similar to what they did this year, but only at Pheasantwood this time instead of being at both tracks. And then they've got 3 lesson days at Pheasantwood throughout the year as well. So good place to go and get some practice. But I'm sure there's going to be a heap of events. I know Flash has already announced another spawn in January on Australia Day or Australia Day weekend.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, 25th.
5th, yeah. And then only a week or 2 after that, 2 weeks after that is the first Rev Day, and somewhere in between that is also the South Circuit stuff from High Tech. So there's going to be a shitload of stuff going on in New South Wales. So time for everybody to get themselves a SR with a T28 or a car with a VQ with nothing done to it. So
just leave it stock, except for the diff.
Yeah. Plenty of track days coming up. So and the fact that it looks like there's a whole bunch of drift guys going down for the 22nd of December to the open day at Pheasantwood as well. If you keep up on Facebook, there's a lot of dudes looking like they've already paid and entered to go do one of them just regular Pheasantwood circuit days. So it'll be interesting to hear some feedback.
Are you one of them?
No, I'm not currently one of those ones. It'll be interesting to hear how those guys all fare with that. It'll be interesting to get some feedback from some guys who go, just because I think we're all fairly curious to see what the flow of those days are like. Because probably not bad days to get to if you're looking for a fix.
Yeah, it's being run by Marul. I don't think any of the other clubs are helping out with that, are they? It's just a
No.
model and run day.
Yeah. Hence, sounds like no passengers, all that sort of stuff. So it'd just be an open session with probably maybe an official there running start line or something. But
Yeah.
I guess we wait and see what comes of it, and it'll be interesting to see how many corners and what direction it's all run. So
I reckon it'd be uphill.
yeah, I'm not sure because it's reverse wall, so that's why I thought maybe it'll be run downhill. Because that way it's the same flow of traffic as the rest of the day. Because you got to have people coming in and out
Yeah.
of pits, all that sort of stuff. So,
You
yeah,
reckon they'd start them before turn 2?
yeah, that's why I'm curious to see. I would just be super interested to see what comes of it. If there ends up being more accidents and stuff like that at that sort of day. But the guys that I've seen that are going at this stage all seem like fairly sensible dudes. So we wait and see what happens. But yeah, keep an eye on Revolution Motorsport event dates. But I don't think Flash puts his dates up on anything else other than really on his own personal Facebook page. So just sort of.
He shares it around.
Yeah, so keep an eye on Flash Spawn Racing and stuff like that for other dates as well, because yeah, it's going to be a shitload of drifting this year in New South Wales. So, but it's just a matter of being on
next year.
Next year on the pulse with as many of those clubs and organisations as you can be, because there's just heaps of them and coming fast and yeah, all super close together. So yeah, just keep an eye on all that. And then, have you seen anything else come up from a local point of view?
Not only ADC.
Yeah.
Revo.
Yeah.
The upcoming Eastern Creek event with Driving Sports.
Yeah.
And I think we talked about Rayleigh already.
Yeah.
That's all I can think of.
Yeah. Yeah.
Local.
So, yeah.
Keep a read soon as well, isn't it?
Keep a read is this Friday night.
Yeah.
And they're actually running a drift school as part through the day before the event. So those guys have sort of looked like they're starting to take the helm of Victorian drifting. So it'll be interesting to see what comes of all of that next year. Because, yeah, I know Vic Drift has had some dramas, so we wait and see.
Yeah. Nothing's been announced yet, has it?
About the ATO or about the rest of it?
Oh, just anything. Is that public or is it still just rumours?
I think it's still just rumours. It's fun to upset people. I guess let's get on to some shit talking. So, DCA has announced it is going to run a super pro.
Hang on, I'm going to bring up the
post. Yeah. See, mate, I'm already prepared. I got that shit open. So, yeah, it's going to run a super pro category for 3 of its rounds. If my understanding is correct, and if it happens, I think at this stage DCA will potentially be looking at a 5-round regular season. At a minimum, it'll be 4.
I think they're still nailing down the tracks.
Yeah. So, but I know they're working on potentially a 5, but it might be down to a 4. I know Luke's still working on just trying to secure dates, but he did announce in one of his vlogs that it will be starting in April at some stage at Archie. And this is not for Super Pro, this is just for regular season. And then he made mention of it working its way down the coast. Hence why I say there's potentially 5 rounds. And then finishing in Mount Gambier in November, so around the same date that it was this year. So 4 or 5 rounds of the regular season. That's the Pro Championship, and that's where the prize for the drive in Pro Street at D1NZ is coming from, not this new Super Pro category. So that prize that was announced will stay within the regular championship, and I would imagine it'll be similar to previous years where it's a drop around system. So anybody who's seen that post come up and is like, oh shit, like you've got to go play with this crazy new section, I don't think that's the case. And then so for this Super Pro, it's going to be limited to 16 spots, where normal DCA is basically unlimited spots, or
Like
whatever.
80 normally.
But I would imagine for Archerfield it's going to be a little bit more restricted because they don't have space for that many cars to pit, but still you're 32 plus within that category, so you're not guaranteed to qualify. So it's top 16 by application, tubes, chassis, cars. So pretty much open rules when it comes to chassis. They haven't defined whether or not the car actually needs a body or not.
A body.
Well, just says tube chassis car. Does it have to resemble an actual street car? Because I think Stewie's going to have a field day on this shit.
Just have to wait for the regs to come out.
Yeah. Well, isn't this the regs? Do whatever the fuck you want and put some tires on it?
It just says some quick Super Pro class facts. So it could be... So that's not the entirety of the...
Yeah, I guess.
So this is just like a preview.
I guess the only thing that was left off it should have seatbelts.
I think this is in addition to...
No, I know. So normal DCA rules running under Racer, you generally don't need a cage, but it's, factory side intrusions, all that sort of stuff. But you haven't needed a cage in the past, but this is full cage required. Race suits, which was DCA's always required if you wanted to do ride with a pro, which is where you can sort of make some money taking passengers. And then just they're looking for better pit presentation, gazebos, all that sort of stuff at places that don't have a pit facility. And then the biggest part of this championship is the fact that it's a completely open tyre rule. So I know he mentioned Mitch Pullen's looking at doing what Robbie Bolger used to do and running V8 Supercar wets.
I thought you were going to say something else.
Stealing engines from South Australia. Yeah. Well, they don't make them anymore. There's none of that shit happening anymore. So
steal them
from where?
From a manufacturer.
Yeah. But yeah, big open tyre rule. So it'll be interesting to see. So they're talking 3 rounds for this series, which will be 3 within the 4 or 5 rounds, I would imagine. And then they're saying Super Pro layouts will be faster and more aggressive, risky than Pro Class. I'm not sure what all that means. Maybe they'll just put a concrete barrier on a track that doesn't need a concrete barrier because they can, or I don't know.
They'll start putting obstacles in there.
Yeah, just get the jumps from the Stadium Super Trucks.
Yes.
And you got to fucking off that.
Yeah. So if you don't go fast enough, then you can just nosedive. Yeah.
Or maybe there'll be like some grind rails like in Hyperdrive and all that sort of thing. Did you see the 50-50 grind thing in Hyperdrive? Where they had to slide down the rails?
Is that like episode 5 or 6 or something?
I don't know.
Because I didn't really get that far into it.
Mate, you're just not trendy. You're too busy with your Disney Plus subscription. So yeah, I don't think Super Pro will run at Archerfield because I think there was potential that would tear the fuck out of that track, or certain sections of that track. There are definitely some parts of it that would handle it. There are certainly some parts of that track that would not handle it. And also the fact that I'm just not sure they'll have the capacity for that many cars. Maybe it'll be on a standalone day up there. But yeah,
There's only
I just
three rounds though, so I don't think it'll be Archie.
well, that's what I'm saying. I don't think it'll be at Archie. But and more just from a track perspective, I'm not sure it'll run at Archie, but we'll wait for confirmation on that. So I'm speculating definitely the Victorian venue. I would say
Yeah.
Mount Gambier for sure,
Really?
because because it's always a 3-day weekend, so I would imagine that it'll be on that last round. So it's like a massive DCA weekend, but I'm not sure how it gets any more risky than it already is.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
So
Well,
maybe
nah, it's got to be a different course.
So maybe Stadium Super Truck. No, they'll probably just start them from further back. But also, if guys are running on R888s or some stupid shit like that, then on 305s, like that course is going to be fast as fuck anyway. Like people are probably going to get airborne over the crest. So you have to set your droop to be
Oh
like
yeah, backwards. You can. It feels like you can get airborne.
maybe they'll start backwards, but instead of coming up from the pits, they'll start from like what used to be the return road.
Yeah.
And then just I don't know. But I can't imagine them going too crazy risky because on that course just there's risk of car ending up in crowd. But it's Luke, so who the fuck knows? What are you speculating? And I'm just not sure if they go to Tassie, if they would make one of those rounds and force those guys to go to Tassie.
Simmons, yeah, hell yeah. Simmons would
You
be
think
great for. It'd be great for a Super Pro round.
No, I know it'd be great for it, but if you've got
yeah.
but if you're running, if say 14 or 15 out of the 16 cars are from the mainland, I don't think DCA's ever had that many cars make the trip over to Tassie before. So
But these are Super Pro guys. It doesn't like they're capable of doing this thing. This is what they
yeah,
want.
yeah,
It's
I
only
know,
3 rounds.
yeah, I guess we wait and see. But I would imagine that it doesn't stop you if your car's eligible for both, running both on a weekend. Just run the risk of your shit being pretty fucked up.
Nah, you'd be fine. Simmons is like Wakefield. It's super open.
No, they say most risky, so you're gonna have to like, oh yeah, they probably run Simmons and try and do the whole front straight.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. You do the last
Yeah,
corner, do the whole front straight, and then you do not I don't know what they call that section. So the
yeah,
50 section. You just go straight through.
yeah, potentially.
Yep.
Not great for spectators, but I guess spectators on the roof can probably see it well.
No, it'd be
But
great for spectators. It's like action on half of the track.
oh no, yeah, I get what you're saying now.
Yeah.
Oh, so instead of cutting all the way around there, you could just high speed and continue under the bridge.
Yeah, you pretty much you do the whole course bar 2 corners.
Yeah. But you could continue drifting after that left-hander and then right-hander under the bridge.
Yep.
Just at a more sweeping high speed.
Yep.
Yeah, that'd be cool. So yeah, I put my predictions on being Victoria, Tassie, and Mount Gambier then.
Yeah, I don't know how you'd run Mount Gambier.
I just think
Super
because
Pro.
it's a three. I think just because it's a 3 days and heaps of pit space and it's a special event. So
Unless you cut back the normal round.
what do you mean?
So you cut the corners, so you do Super Pro as all corners, and then
Oh yeah, just go back to
national
running.
Yeah,
starting at the top of the crest again. Starting at the top of the what was turn 1 for Cash Kings this year.
Yep.
Or something like that. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, maybe.
Except it didn't work. Yeah, I thought it'd be worse, but it actually flowed pretty well.
Yeah, well, it's probably actually better in some ways because the car's already settled in drift. But yeah, we'll wait and see what he does with it. What do you think about the open chassis rule, or the fairly open chassis rule?
This is for people that have I don't know, $200,000 plus car. Like it doesn't. At that point, it probably doesn't really matter what chassis you run. Like you change it so much that.
But are you excited to see what people are gonna bring out, or do you think somewhere like a Nigel's gonna pull his Ute out of the garage and
No, I don't think Nigel probably gets more. He seems to not need to do anything with that Ute, and it still has heaps of
E-Fames?
yeah.
But
So
but do you think
he,
anybody's gonna go and do something similar to that, or do you think people are more hyped on the fact that the tire rules way more open?
yeah, I think it's to do with the tire rule.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, I hope someone does stuff, but that something like I don't know, like a Lada would be cool.
I don't know how many larders we have in Australia.
Man, one of my neighbors down here has like a backyard full of Ladas.
Really?
Yeah, he
That's
loves
kind of
them.
cool.
Yeah, but he says they're the heaviest things ever because they're made in Russia and they're built for Russia.
Yeah. Yeah, you watch dash cam videos of them hitting shit and they just sort of like bounce off like a
Yeah, I
brick.
know, they go dong and then they spin around and they don't. Yeah, even the wiring is heavy duty. He says he has to rip it all out because it's all like massive 2-gauge wire or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, Logan's question whether or not, Australia has enough cars to fit it, like for it to be worthwhile having a open chassis rule. But I think it's more. It just means you don't have to police so much. I think more than anything. So if somebody's crashed the shit out of a car or written the strut towers off on a car, they can just cut it at the firewall, and instead of having to try and sort out a new
Yeah.
front end off another car, you can just make your own struts similar to what Connor's done with the Prelude. So
I
I think
it's
that's
also sorry.
no go yeah.
I think it's also to do with all these exemptions that, or like people are receiving in other competitions. You know how you can apply,
Yeah,
and you can,
and you get them anyway.
and then you can apply for this exemption because your car's against the rules, and you get it because they like you or they want your car there or something like that. But then this is like
Jabbert's old 15 shell had the
Yep.
the firewall notched and the motor moved back, but then I think he ended up moving the motor back to stock position, but still had the notch in the firewall and all that sort of stuff. I guess it cleans up some of that without having to police it so heavily.
Yeah, and also means people sort of would build a car for a specific, like within the rules, and then you get this other person who doesn't build a car within the rules, and then because they go, oh, that's a cool build, yeah, we want it in a competition, we'll make it exempt, and then it's like, well, that's not really kind of fair, kind of thing.
Yeah, or the fact that there's just not enough numbers, so you pretty much got to take everybody. But then there are dudes who, happily will or have the skill to either spend the money or do the work to create something that, some people might deem as an advantage. But now it's sort of, if you've got the skill or the money to do it, then go absolutely ham. Or if you don't want to spend money doing that to try and make the car do something fancy, go and spend some more money on some really big fucking tires.
Actually, that reminds me, someone actually did talk about this a long time ago, and then they wanted to bring a NASCAR over and then change the suspension so it actually suits drifting.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that because the guys who do the Gum Out series in the States, Ryan Turk, Chris Forsberg, and Dylan Hughes have been playing with like an old stock car in the US and have done a JZ swap in it, and they've done their sort of final setup stuff. They're still running big stock car wheels, but they said they corner balanced and set ride heights and did wheel alignment in about 15 minutes on that thing because they've been built to be so easy to work on. To set ride height, they're just sort of at the top with like a crank just winding the car to the height that they needed it and all that sort of stuff because those cars need to be easy for quick setup changes, but because a drift car is based off a factory car, It's not as easy, but that being, you know, built as purely a race car has made life a lot easier. So it'll be interesting to see if anybody takes it to that extreme. I guess it really comes to whether or not it sticks, but I guess it means you can gives people some freedom to know that if they want to go a little bit crazy with a build, you can build something you can take to a practice day and have a shitload of fun in it. And then if you want to compete in it, there's somewhere for you to compete. Because at the moment you can't even do world time attack in that sort of car.
So hopefully we see something crazy like that. I can't even think. You know what would be cool? Rally cars. Just get them
They've
to
got
crossover as well.
Yeah, but they've got big, and I'm sure Logan would attest to this. They've got some fucking serious cage work in those cars though, so they're probably heavier than what you could probably do.
Who cares? It means that they can, if they want to, they somehow
buy
fit
something
in
and
the
convert it
rules
over.
in a lot easier. Well, I don't know. I have no idea. I've never worked around rally cars before. I don't know how easy they could change to fit within what the rules will be, but
Fuck it, my 105. Let's see what's on that we can buy and turn into a open drift car. Just shut. But this is why I want to know with the, and I'm sure.
are you
Regan
talking about a death drift car, whatever it's called? You know, what
Yeah,
they're talking about running
sort of, but
at
not even.
port.
Yeah, but not even just cutting the body off a existing shell. But could I buy a wingless sprint car and then just put wheels on it that
Yeah.
suit? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
this is that's what I'm saying. Like, there's some some odd ideas that you could sort of go with if you wanted to go that crazy. You know, a US Legends car, which is like a little speedway car. You know, $19,000. Probably not a bad little setup. I'm not sure all-wheel drive cars and front-wheel drive cars are going to be allowed.
I think they should let front-wheel drive, but not all-wheel drive.
No, well, you can do like front-wheel drive converted to rear drive, or just front-wheel drive.
No, front-wheel drive's fine.
Fuck
Front-wheel
that
drive
shit.
converted to rear is fine. Yeah, you still have to
Yeah,
meet
yeah.
the same criteria. If you can't slide the same way to the criteria, you're just gonna get knocked out. Like it's harder, and
Yeah. I cannot see that
all-wheel
happening.
drive drifting is different. It's cool in its own way, but you need all-wheel drive drifting, not
Yeah.
you couldn't do it with a rear or front. Like it's got to be front or rear only,
Yeah, nah, I can't see it happening.
and no like bias or whatever.
Yeah, nah, can't see it happening. Do you know what would be cool? A sports sedan car converted to a drift car. They're like the big, wide body, like mid-mounted engine cars, like Alfa Romeos, all that sort of stuff. That would be cool. There's a VS Commodore on here for 57 grand.
Okay, let me just pull that out of my back pocket and I'll just hand it
No,
over to you.
just be a cool, just be a fucking cool build. Like, you know, most of the work there's already done. You just
Yeah.
need to get it. You just need to
Oh,
get it so that
yeah.
it probably a little bit more power out of it, and then put some lock mods in that shit and get it going. So, and when you got dudes like Mitch Pullen who are looking at running supercar wets and mid-mounting engines has been spoken about and it's allowed. Well, open tube chassis would suggest that sort of shit would be allowed. Look, and the reality is none of our tracks in Australia that we're allowed to drift on regularly are big enough that a car like that is going to have a massive, massive, massive advantage.
I don't even know what type of car you're talking about. What is it?
Like, it was like, you know, like a no, I mean like a mid-mounted engine. Like, so if Daigo brought his 1000 car, it's not. I just don't think it's gonna have a huge advantage over every other car.
Yeah.
Because our courses just don't. You know, we're not running a Fuji Speedway or a or topless or anything crazy like that with just breakneck speeds on entry. It's
That's what I was hoping.
yeah, but where in Australia would you be able to run that sort of thing?
Eastern Creek. That's probably about it.
Yeah, Eastern Creek and maybe
Oh, QR.
Barbagallo.
Actually,
Yeah,
no. What
yeah,
about Talem?
yeah. I
I've
still don't,
never checked out the new Talem track, but that thing's huge.
like the big track or
The big
the
track.
drift circuit.
No, I'm
Yeah,
talking about the big track.
but I'm saying tracks that you'd be allowed to run. You
Yeah,
know,
I doubt you'd get
if they ran a
Sydney.
comp on turn 1 of QR, maybe turn 1 Mungie into turn 2 and then stop,
Mungie?
maybe
No, it's the whole link.
just fucking
This is Super Pro class. It's pretty much unlimited. So yeah, the requirements are high. You're talking like what was it? Read it again. Um, Faster and more aggressive, risky than Pro class.
Yeah, but at that stage we could just give everybody in the crowd machine guns. That makes it more risky too.
Yeah, but we're not America.
Yeah, we could give them our next door neighbors volcanoes or something instead. Do you know the
Yeah.
other thing that I thought would be cool to build, but I'm not you know I can't even think what they're called. You know the little open top cars where you basically sit over the back wheels and then it's like they're
Drag
open
car?
wheel? No, they're like something from the UK. They're just like a kit car. You can pretty much put whatever engine in it you like. Open front wheels,
Oh,
two
the
seaters.
Clubman, the
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Lotus,
yeah.
Lotus.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Clubmans or something like
Yep.
that.
Yep.
How that would be pretty cool. Wouldn't be fun getting flicked with a shitload of dirt, but
Man, I went
it'd be
for a ride in one with the SR, the stock turbo. It was like 600 kilos, and that thing was fast. I don't think it could keep traction. I don't think it actually
hey,
could
you can't say
push you forward.
you can't say can't keep traction because you can run whatever size tire you want to run.
Yeah, okay. It's been interesting. Like, you definitely want. It just
See?
makes it everything's like freaking hard. If you did that, I think I'd probably put weight into it a little bit.
Oh yeah, potentially for sure. But
Yeah.
I just think it opens you to that sort of possibility. No, Connor, I don't think you could do a drift motorbike because I think the rules will probably say 4 wheels.
Yeah.
But that sort of car would just be like, yeah, it'd be cool to see somebody do it. But maybe Russell can tell us, is the rules going to be, does it have to be an actual production car? Or does it have to end up looking like a production car? Or can it just be, could you build a tube frame car like Nigel's built and then just put sheet metal on it to close up the holes, I guess? Because I think you're opening yourself up for, that's going to be Stewie. He's going to show up and have just like the bloody cyber truck from Tesla
Cool.
looking bloody looking thing.
Oh, I hope that comes out.
But yeah,
It makes so many people upset.
so Connor's saying, "Oh, drag radials." I'm just not sure drag radials would last very long. I think that would be the biggest problem with them.
Never use them.
Yeah, there's not a crazy amount of meat on them, and I don't think the design to get that hot.
Don't they flex around as well?
Yeah,
cornering?
that too. So I'm pretty sure you'd probably load up one side of it, and then it'll just like buck you off the side. But you can get fairly skinny sidewall, like not stupidly skinny, but fairly skinny
But they're still
sidewalls.
soft.
They're just a soft sidewall, so yeah, you'd still get a lot of rebound through the sidewall, which wouldn't necessarily be the world's greatest thing. But let's have a look at some rally cars. Let's see what's up online for in the way of rally cars that could be done.
Pretty much any car's been a rally car.
No, I just want to see what's for sale.
In Canberra. Oh, Canberra, in Australia.
Yeah, see what we can convert. Oh, there we go. A86. It's already done.
It's a drift car to begin with.
No, I
Cheap
know.
drifter.
I'm trying to see if I can find a like a rallycross car or something that's all tube frame.
Like a Focus or a
Yeah.
Renault
Fiesta,
a Clio.
potentially. I think most of them would be full body. I know when they started to try and get that rallycross thing going, there was a whole bunch of Fiestas that were done. So, oh, yeah, maybe they should call it Group B instead. Group B, Drift Challenge Australia Group B,
Group B.
and it just
That'd
be
be cool.
or Group R.
Group R.
Yeah, for Group Retard, because they're gonna go full retard. Nah, it doesn't look like we have anything. Just buggies. We have a shitload of buggies in Australia. Be cool to see some. Not sure that would fly though. Probably want to roll over a lot too. Maybe Connor will do a rear drive conversion on one of his Preludes.
With what engine though? Oh, he's
What
the engine bay is
K,
like
mate.
super short. No, it doesn't fit.
Oh, mate, you can just
K
cut the
motor's
whole.
like K
you can
motor's
cut
huge.
Mate, you can cut the firewall out of it and just sit the motor beside you.
Actually,
just turn the car around.
You'd want to be left-hand drive then.
Hey, do you think Connor could make it so that the drive wheels stayed where they are and just lock them in position, mount steering stuff to the back wheels, and just turn the seating position around and have a Honda Prelude that drives backwards as a drift car?
I don't think the steering rack actually moves like the the rear steering rack doesn't move like the front one.
No, I understand that. Like, you'd have to do some custom shit, but I just meant make a backwards front wheel drive drift car. So it's basically rear engine, rear drive.
Yeah,
I feel like if anybody's up for the challenge, then Connor's up for that. And I feel like he'd do it just to prove a point.
So you gotta tell me you can't. It's impossible to do.
Yeah, it's impossible to do. You just said it was impossible to do.
Yeah.
Well, I thought it was possible.
No, it's impossible.
It's impossible. All right, it's impossible.
You can't.
No, not like a forklift. You don't want it to be re-steering.
No, he's a forklift. He says drifting because he's been talking about drifting a forklift
instead.
Yeah. He has some ideas that he's come up with after working on the forklift at work. So.
Why does that worry me a fair bit?
I wouldn't really be worried. I think he's got enough projects anyway.
To be busy? Fair enough then.
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna load him up with some work. So.
See, I don't know what cars in Australia are actually outside of a lot of the existing series. Like, I know having your firewall notched and all that sort of stuff is outside the rules, but you can get away with subframe swaps and all that, which is, our rules here are still more lenient than FD, because Warwick Hill's got a Silvia cradle or a Skyline cradle in the back of his BMW. There's a few other cars with those sort of conversions. I think even Brian Cruikshank has a rear cradle swap to a Nissan chassis in the back of his BMW. You've got, I think, a car like the Evo from Custom Craft would actually fall into most of the rules.
It's a Falcon as well. It's a Falcon with the Skyline rear as well.
Anthony Hatcher, maybe, with the Ute that's all tube frame in the back.
Yep.
But I think most of those are allowed to get away with that were like that because of the fact that they were leaf sprung and were allowed to be turned into. Fuck. For some of Connor's comments are scaring me a little bit. Downforce fans and shit.
He wants to build the ultimate drift car.
The ultimate drift car.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what that is.
Oh, he has an idea.
It'd be really interesting to do like a side by side comparison of a really crazy low chassis, probably sort of like the Shart cart from the Hoonigan guys, you know, the MX-5 that's had everything cut off it. But you probably want it a little bit wider than that all round to be a little bit probably more balanced, but just to play with dimensions and weight and sort of roll center and then size of tire and see what that perfect balance is. Because there would have to be there would be an optimal position when it comes to power, grip, weight, and dimension, I would imagine. But that would also depend on the corners too.
Yeah, the course would. Yeah, you definitely need to make it so it would be adjustable for the courses you'd run, especially for the like varying tracks we have around Australia. Like there, you get some pretty big fast sweepers, and then some of the other tracks are like super tight, and they're
Yeah.
odd.
So yeah, I don't think anybody's going to go out and try and set the world on fire at this stage um, with doing any crazy builds. I might end up being proven wrong, but
No, I'm hoping to see a NASCAR over here. I've heard so many people talking about getting NASCAR, like buying a used NASCAR from America and just bringing it over, but then doesn't actually meet any of the requirements here. Doesn't meet any of the, no, it doesn't fit in the requirements for here, the criteria. So you couldn't actually drive it during a competition.
yeah, we have like Oz Trucks and a few other series here now, which is basically based off the same principles. I can't think of the name of the series. There's some pretty good looking Mustangs that actually look like Mustangs, unlike supercars, crappy allowances on totally changing what a fucking car looks like. But yeah, maybe somebody will do a ZB Commodore tube car to, you know, as a hiatus to the Commodore leaving. Yeah, I was just looking at Aussie racing cars now, Russell, but I think those things would be so small and twitchy, you'd need like more than forklift steering. Do you know which one the Aussie racing cars are?
Yep.
The little,
Yep.
basically
Yeah, I see them
motorbikes
around
that are
Wakefield.
four.
Yeah.
Super cool cars, but
Super
could you
quick.
imagine? Could you imagine trying to drift one of those? You'd need a shitload of steering lock.
Yeah. I can't imagine, especially for the courses that are being described and we're imagining, they'll be any good because it's like a short wheelbase on a fast course.
Yeah, and you've just got to make sure that the back of your helmet is rubbing any sort of outside zones. Like, it's pretty damn close to it.
I think you can reach out with your arm and touch a wall with that car.
That's...
But I can't think of any others. That the Commodore that Red Bull made, that would have suited the competition.
Yeah. Well, look, if you want to buy an X supercar and do that, then it's really is an option. I just had a look at a few X supercars and yeah, a lot of money.
Yep.
It would be cheaper to buy a regular, you know, $500 Commodore of the same series, or an AU Falcon of the same series, and put a cage in it and buy a whole bunch of panels and do your own, rather than having the crazy amount of bar work. Yeah, but I think our rules here are already fairly lenient enough. I think that the big game changer really is the tire rule, and the fact that with open tube chassis, there's one major thing you're going to be able to do that you haven't been able to do previously to fit a big tire, and that's tub the rear wheels.
people need to do that.
Well, they haven't been able to previously.
Normally, people want more track, so
You want more track, yes, but if you're trying to squeeze like a 305 under a car,
you just
and
cut
get
the guard out and put flares on.
yeah, but then you got to push it out wider.
Yeah, because you're getting more track then.
But you don't necessarily always want more track.
Not necessarily, but I mean, I can't think of many cars that actually want to go inwards more.
But it's not only about going inwards more; it's the fact you can go lower.
Yeah, you could still go lower, just not as wide.
Yeah, but this is what I'm saying. So it just opens some possibilities like that if people want to go that crazy.
I don't think they'd do that.
You don't think so?
Not rear tubs.
That wouldn't surprise me.
Really? Who'd want to do that?
Somebody who wants to fit stupidly wide tires on their car.
And not actually make the car wide.
No, you still be fairly wide, but if you're running a 305 or something like that, then you just got to go stupidly wide.
But it's not even that much wider. Like, I've put 265s on my cars before, and like it does sit on the guard, but from a 265 to 305, it's only another sort of that much, which is that's like cut it out, put a flare on.
Yeah, I don't know. It's all about finding that elusive G spot. But I guess even in the front too means you could cut the whole back out of your wheel well out too, which would then give you the ability to run a much bigger tire up front.
Yeah.
To balance the car out when it comes to getting onto steering lock too.
Yeah. Hopefully we see some cool builds.
I think you could do something fucking retarded without spending a shitload of money. You just gotta.
Yeah, but it'd be retarded. Like, wouldn't? Are you talking about well thought out retarded or?
Nah. Like if you're a good fabricator, the fact that you really could sort of bump your, sort of make some space for some much bigger tires in the front for steer tires, which would mean then you could balance it out with really big tires in the back for drive tires. So
yeah, balance is good, but
yeah,
I can't think of any like. What's the problem with Wisefab at the moment? Why are people running skinny tires at the front for Wisefab?
because you tend to hit when you end up hitting the inside of the guard. So because you can't modify behind the strut tower, behind the strut.
Okay.
You end up hitting behind.
So within this rule, you'd be able to actually create a space for it.
Yeah, you could clearance the back.
Okay.
So, as long as people did it sensibly and didn't lose feet. When you end up with the wheel smashed up into your inner guard.
Man, this would be interesting.
Yeah.
But I think this is more so for those people that run sticky tires.
Oh, of course it was. Yeah, no, I understand that, but it would just be.
It'd be fun if actually someone built a car to these rules or within these rules, and what sort of car it'd be.
Yeah, and again, I think you could get away without spending crazy money on parts, but you've just got to. I think you could try some crazy shit from a chassis point of view.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Because I don't think, yeah.
Up for it.
Yeah, because I still think you could get away with a GTR diff and a fairly strong box conversion, but I think you could then just refine a chassis in some way, shape, or form to get it to work better. So, because Jack Shanahan said to me when he was out here for Gambia that his ideal car would be as light as humanly possible and the biggest tires that he could was allowed to run or could physically run on a car would be
Yep.
his ideal car. And I said, but wouldn't it make it perform weird? And he's like, man, you just spend more time on throttle. And you pretty much just drive the car everywhere because there's not much throwing of the car to be done because the car will just grip up so hard and so fast.
Yeah, if it's good with geometry, then it would. But
Traction control allowed. I think if you put traction control, you need to run diesel squirters. Wasn't that all the rage back in the day?
diesel squirters.
Yeah, traction control and diesel squirters. Wasn't that how Drift Australia used to work? Wasn't that all the talk from all the other motorsports?
Never heard anything about that.
Really? That was the
No.
reason that was all the smoke. Because you couldn't get that from forward momentum without doing a sit-on burnout in Australia. So it had to be
Who
diesel
said
squirters.
that?
Yeah, it was all the sort of shit that used to go around on
Really?
forums and stuff back in the day. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. That's weird.
Yeah. So who do you think will come out to play in this series? And do you think guys who have just shown up to run semis will get upset when somebody does a crazy build?
No. I think they'll still be scared.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think the cream will still rise to the top.
Yep. I think people that are scared won't turn up. Still.
I don't know who you're referring to. Oh, you mean of like ruining their wrap or something like that?
Oh, I don't know. Just their car. Even though I think, because some of them, said openly that they wouldn't drive because their cars are worth more than the other cars on the track and all. It's just like it's not fair or something like that.
So you don't think that driving drift crashes Australia? even if it's called Super Pro? Or Super Duper Pro?
I reckon some would actually, but not.
Yeah, I think I saw
the people that. So there's someone that would, and there are some that wouldn't. They'd still make up an excuse because it's just they're too scared.
Yeah. I know that Aaron DeWar's shown some interest from his comments on Facebook.
Yeah, I don't think he's scared.
I did get a message from one of the Hill brothers, the better one.
But they've done DCA, like.
Yeah, but just interested in driving on semis.
Yep.
So, as I said, the better one. I know he watches sometimes, so we should. I need to stroke his ego a little bit.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, I think there's a few guys definitely interested. So, I think once tracks are announced, it'll probably make life a little bit easier too, because you'll know how much of an advantage that sort of stuff will end up having.
Yeah.
Because again, I think there's still a point of balance, really.
Yeah.
Where
and in Australia, drifters still aren't rich yet. I don't think any. Well, actually, no. There'd be some countries that would, but like in Australia, they're not that rich still.
Sorry, people are sending me shit.
Good shit or bad shit?
Somebody's messaging me asking me when I'm going to do my Corvette, and then sending me pictures of the new mid-mounted one. So, yeah, interested to see what people are going to try and do. And yeah, again, I think it'd be good to see some old race cars turned into drift cars. That are already pre-existing tube chassis or an ex supercar or something like that. It opens those doors, and yeah, a little bit heavier, so if they've got the financial backing, they can go and slap some big tires on the car.
Be interesting. I wonder how
Well,
they drift.
I think it'd be fine. You're talking just a perfectly rigid body. It just comes down to we look at what Red Bull did with that car. Like, I understand a lot of CAD drawing and stuff involved with that, but
Yeah, but I've never seen it in person. I just watched it in videos. And some of the clips that they put in, I felt like if they showed a bit more of the clip, the car's actually spun.
yeah, and the fact that he's like 50-50 grinding over the fucking ripple strips and shit at
Yeah.
times.
Well, this is fine, but
But that's set up more than anything. Like, at the end of the day, if you put a shitload of steering lock into it, depending on how much rollover you get with the wheels and all that, that's one thing. Then in any car, your adjustable rear end is still how you want to set it up. And then having a perfectly rigid frame gives you the ability that your suspension and your tires doing all the work.
yeah.
So
But still,
again,
you're coming from like a car that's been put together for not that much drifting to a series where it's like big showy angle, really fast transitions, and then how it actually reacts, like having a crazy race car brought over to drifting.
yeah, but it's more, if you're using a chassis like that, it's more the fact that any of your clearancing for a gearbox is already done, and whatever rear end in it is potentially good and strong depending on what sort of horsepower that series already runs, depending on what what motor it comes with. I know can't think of the name of the series. Glenn Seaton's son's driving in it at the moment. There's some Mustangs and a few other big wide body cars, and every single car in that category just runs a 4-speed dog box and an LS motor. And I'm pretty sure a solid rear end. And, they're the sort of cars that would be sort of aimed at for this sort of thing, I guess, because, you're not trying to build off a 30-year-old shitty Nissan. He's just like, I'm trying to build off a 30-year shitty Nissan.
It's not shitty. It just falls apart really easily.
It's not shitty yet. It's just not shitty yet. What are you hoping to see the most? That might be it, Will.
What's that?
AMRS.
AMRS.
Yeah, Australian Motor Racing Series.
Is this stuff that's on TV? I didn't realize you still watch TV.
Oh, there we go. TA2 Muscle Car Series. Have a look at that.
All right. TA2 Muscle Cars. Oh, pretty cool. They look heaps better than supercars.
Fucking oath they do. This is what I'm saying.
Why do they... This looks heaps better. Like, Mustangs look incredibly terrible in supercars. Like, they look hideous. Why do they even let them run that car?
Because they fit into the homologation shit that they had made for supercars. But
yeah, but just put like what's another? Well, the Mondeo. Just put a Mondeo like body onto it.
Because the manufacturers didn't want to spend money on it. They weren't interested unless they were going to be. Oh. They weren't interested unless they're allowed to run the Mustang. So, but yeah, how much better do they look?
Look heaps cooler.
Yeah.
It's almost like the that classic car in Le Mans.
Yeah, I think it's probably similar. So, but yeah, in Australia these guys are all running LSs. It doesn't matter if it's a Mustang or a Camaro. It's just the outside body that's different. But yeah.
So do this series cars actually come out?
I don't know. Well, they're pretty new. These are new, or a pretty new series. So I just wonder what buying one would be worth, and then just doing some other shit to it. Because other than the parts you'd need for your steering lock stuff, then the rest of it's still off the shelf, right?
I really have to look at one. It'd be nice to see what they trying to find. Maybe I'll type in chassis. Might actually come
It's
up
it's
with.
it's all tube.
There we go. Yeah, it looks like it'd probably be easy enough to adapt something into it.
Yeah. So that's what the closest you'd get to, rather than importing an ex stock car from the US. This sort of stuff's, I think Oztruck used to be one as well, that they tried to get going, or something like that. So what do you think? TRS is going to build one of them?
Oh, I don't think we can afford it. It looks pretty expensive.
I thought the drug industry in Canberra's gone good.
I guess so. 'Cause there's less availability because they're all in jail at the moment. Well, not all of them, but there's more people in jail at the moment. So there's probably more demand for drugs down here. Yeah.
Supplies down, is it?
Yeah. Yeah. Apparently the drug dealers are out of that house behind me now, and they're it's up for rent again, but it's actually renting to the public. So it's interesting to see that post actually. But
Trying to see if there's any prices on these cars.
the TA2 muscle cars,
Yeah.
man, that looks so much better.
These cars are landed in Australia for about 130,000, full turnkey race car ready to go. It costs
So
less
they
than $2,000 per round to run.
ex American race series cars or something.
No, I think they're just built over there.
Okay, are they left-hand or right-hand drive?
I think they're left-hand drive.
Yep, in the photos, they're left-hand drive.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that'd be interesting.
But still, like, the fact that you look at what some of the guys are spending to build drift cars, to have these sort of things turned out, or
Ready
even
to
the fact,
go.
yeah, like it really is not that expensive. But yeah, still very, very cool. And as you said, I agree with you. What the fuck is Supercars doing compared to these? So here we go. Will's on the investigations. We should put him on as third person.
He could be our researcher.
Oh, they were the guys who did the retardedly fast Ford Focuses too. That were supposed to. I think they ended up running in the 12-hour at Bathurst years and years ago. Some crazy cars. So, man, honestly, if a dude with the right amount of money came to play, there could be some crazy shit that came out.
Of this, or are you talking about something?
Just the rules opening for that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Because again, like as you said, like you look at it and how open the chassis is, the ability to adapt stuff to make it work is not all that hard.
No.
And really, the main thing you're looking for is steering lock.
Yeah, and like 130,000 turnkey, ready to go race car. That's like some of the high level drift cars here
Have
way
had more
over
than that spent on it.
Yeah, way over that budget. So
and the fact that they're sort of gone through stages of learning and braking and doing all this sort of stuff, where a lot of that stuff's already learnt for you. Like the Mark Cars one, quad cam V8, 615 brake horsepower at 7,000 RPM and 500 foot-pounds of torque, dry sump, e-throttle with, or run by Motec. Shit, like that's better than what most guys are running. The fact that it's NA, super basic, like that's a DeWar style setup, really.
Yeah.
The only thing that would let a car like this down is the fact that it's running a transaxle, but potentially something you'd look at getting changed. Probably for the cost of an Albin's transaxle and all that, you could probably do a Winters and a more traditional style gearbox setup for less than that anyway.
Well, they
And then
those guys build here, don't they? So you could probably just even
yeah,
ask them to, hey,
yeah,
I don't want that. Just
yeah.
swap it over to something else.
So yeah, it's yeah, it's cool, but I think most people get caught and be like, $130,000 on a car. That's ridiculous money. That's stupid amounts. And then after you've spent 200,000 building a car and blowing it up 8 times, you're like, fuck, should have bought that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah, like I've seen some of people's engine builds, the engine themselves is 30 grand.
yep.
And that's no
Well,
turbo, no.
yeah. Oh yeah. I
Yeah.
know what you're talking about now. So yeah, I know we're like way off track with this topic because at the end of the day, I don't think anybody's showing up to DCA with a car like that just yet.
Really hope so. That'd be fun. I'm just really interested to see how it actually go because, just I'd have to, because the cars are built not for drifting. They'd have to figure out. I mean, if the driver, even doesn't even know how to drift very well, but they just have the money to do it, then that'll be another interesting. But yeah, even with the car itself, it's like just if it actually will drift very well. Like I just don't know enough about it to see if it'll actually be able to change disciplines.
Yeah, honestly, I don't think that would be the biggest issue facing it really. Because I look at, what do you think the most expensive car at World Time Attack Challenge was? Either Bonnie or the MCA car?
Well, Bonnie would be at least $250,000, maybe 300,000.
It's an expensive car.
I
It's a
think
big
Andy's
build.
car would probably be more than that.
So
MCA, I don't know. What's MCA running?
VK56 V8 out of the, I don't know what they're out of, but it's a Nissan motor.
I reckon. I don't know.
So it's not a super common motor. So it's like you're paying for a fair bit of money for parts because it's not. But yeah, like as you said, like already, like there's some cars there that are hundreds of thousands of dollars. But would it cost you to adapt one of those race cars because it's got open chassis rules? Would it cost you
that much?
That much more to turn it into a drift car? No. Like neither do I. I don't think it would cost you that much more to adapt it.
No, so, probably 20 grand max.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it would be really small to actually change it over. Oh well, yeah. Rear end wise, I don't know. I have no idea, but
yeah. But still, it really does open up some possibilities. And I know Russia was a bit like it at some stage. I think it still had to be used based off an actual, still a unibody, but just modified. Yeah, the Kelly Racing guys were running a different. Theirs was like de-stroked and fucking terrible, and they still had to try and get X amount of power out of it and all that sort of stuff. I just know that Chris Forsberg was running them in his one of his championship-winning cars.
Oh, really? So but it's not the ones that kept blowing up?
No, that was when he was trying to run VRs, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
No, sorry, when he was trying to run VQs.
They kept blowing up.
Yeah, they kept blowing up. That was just after Nissan stopped wanting him to run the V8s, and he went back to trying to run a traditional Z motor, and yeah, they kept blowing up. So that's when he went to the VR out of the GTR. Why he kept doing it, no idea. But I also think it might have had something to do with the workshop that he had left to look after the car. To be honest, and I think even he said something like that. So, but yeah, I'm interested to see where an open series like that goes, somewhere like here, and then if worldwide it starts to become a thing. Like you look at just new car sales in general in Australia are fucking terrible. I would imagine it's a worldwide trend in some ways. So
Someone's saying the Hilux was the highest selling car in 2019.
well, Holden's only keeping its SUVs and its Utes. Even the Astra's going.
Yeah, I thought that was weird, but
Uh, I don't think these rules are being written to make Luke's convertible legal. His car is already legal. There's nothing on that car that would put it out of a normal DCA event other than the fact that the tires are. The tire rule is the only thing that would benefit that car in any way, shape, or form. Everything else, there's nothing. Even after that car ended up in a wall, that strut got pulled out. It's still a factory strut. The rear's not anything special. Shit, it's actually got the full metal still in the back of it underneath the rear guards. So, nah, definitely not being written for that sort of car. I think he's talking stuff way more retarded than that. So
I just think it's for those people that
wanted to run
make
big tires,
excuses. Yeah,
but I think it just also brings out it's. I don't think it's been written for anything in particular. I think it's been written so that if people have wild imaginations like Connor does, then go crazy and see if you're skilled enough
no, I think
to win.
Connor's not actually reading the rules. He's just sort of going wild.
No, I know, but you know what I'm saying. Like it still will come down to what a driver in a car can actually deliver on a day. So
And I think Luke is trying to push for like a particular standard. So then there's like a
oh
goal for people to reach and actually progress. So
yeah, and just a cleaner image in some ways for part of the series.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So what are you building for it?
I'm gonna build. Hmm. Probably do a front wheel drive converted to rear wheel drive.
What are you building? What car's that?
I don't know. Not sure. Whichever one I can get the lightest.
Yeah, that's fair. So something old or older.
No, it'd be like slightly newer because it's just in the spirit of this thing. It'd probably like a newer sort of thing, like newish. I'd say less than 15 years old, maybe 10 years old. So
Ichi's version of new.
yeah, well, like all my cars are from the 90s and 80s. So actually, no, I got the Pajero, which is
New.
it was new, but still, besides that, everything else is 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
So yeah, 10 years. Yeah, I don't know what you get cheap. Oh,
Okay,
you know what I want to do actually, but you wouldn't need these rules. This is a Kia Stinger,
yeah, it would be cool, but
but
again,
you don't need these rules to actually do a Kia Stinger.
nah, not at all.
But yeah, that's one I would like to do.
Yeah, I'm more thinking, what's something small that you could basically just have panels that you could hang off a tube frame and make it as light as possible, and then put, I would say probably either an NA or a V6, a high revving V6 or a high revving V8 into it, and just yeah, have it light as possible. And so, as you said, potentially even a front to rear drive converted car, but basically I'd be looking at trying to do something full tube frame that you're just hanging panels off. Because
Yeah, but then you means you can pick any car.
Yeah, but that would be my direction rather than starting with a. I would think that the go would be to do a Nigel Petrie style car and
Yeah,
just go. Not
yeah,
as
I wouldn't
def,
do that.
definitely not as I wouldn't go as extravagant as what he tried to do and as neat as
Mm,
he tried to do, but
Yeah, no, it's cool, but it's just, it's almost like it's not really like, it's not a, well, it's not a Hilux. Like even when you say drift Hilux, it's like nah, it just has the panels hanging off it. That's it.
yeah,
It's
of
not
course.
really a Hilux. So you would just call it a stock car, and that's it. Which is,
Yeah, of course.
it's kind
But I
of eh,
but I think but if when I'm driving, I don't give a fuck what I'm driving. I just want it to feel good and it to work
yeah,
and to serve its purpose.
yeah. See, I wouldn't. It'd probably be the smarter move, but it'd be nice to be able to say, like, look at this. This was a VW Beetle, whatever.
Kind of.
Yeah,
At some stage.
initially. And then rather than, oh, hey, I just made a stock car and I just put the VW Beetle panels onto it.
Yeah. But see, even something like that wouldn't be a bad fit. You find a chassis that would fit, because I think you can pretty much buy whole fiberglass VW Beetles now, and you
Yeah. Well, that
just
means like you can get like the funny car stuff and just like chuck it on, chuck
yeah,
that
just
shell on top of.
yeah.
Yeah, nah, that's not my. I'm
It's
gonna
not
say it's not my style at the moment.
it's not in your spirit of drifting.
Nah, not well. Nah, that's well. Be it's gonna be cool, and to me that doesn't seem cool.
I think cool is shitting your pants the whole time you're driving a car.
No, it's also like as a watcher, like if you watch a car like that and you call it like a Mazda 6 or whatever, it's like, well, it's not a Mazda 6, it's a stock car.
No, of course, but that's like when you're watching NASCAR. It's like, and the Toyota Camry's coming for other. What are they running now? Supras. The Toyota Supra's coming first, and it's like, yeah, it's a show with some stickers.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, no. Just call it whatever the race team is. Like, it doesn't, it's just a
But let's
body
be
with some
real.
stickers, yeah.
Are we past the stage where we ever think a manufacturer or manufacturers are going to get any more heavily involved in drifting, other than like what Ford's doing with the Mustangs in the States? And
I,
what?
th- I thought they were actually getting, like, more manufacturers getting behind FD in, oh, sorry, in the States, in FD.
I think it's only Toyota and
Yeah, Toyota and Ford, but
yeah,
still, like,
Toyota and Ford.
I think they're still getting behind them as opposed to, I don't think anywhere else in the world would
Oh yeah,
they?
of course. Yeah, because they've still got a massive car culture, and I think Chev might eventually come to the party with somebody like a Matt Field, but I think that's about your upper limit of what you're ever going to see. And I think the rest of the world, unless there's some
Actually,
local
New
car
Zealand,
company, nah.
the
Darren
what's
Kelly,
his?
yeah, I understand that. My understanding of that 35 deal was it was just a body donation or something like that.
That's still like that. Is that the manufacturer?
Yeah. That's when it comes to that. But is that worth writing a series rules for one person to get one shell for free?
Hmm.
Like when we're talking about buying a whole race car for $130,000 that makes
Yeah.
600 horsepower.
No, I get. So when Papa
It would be easier.
Duckers
It would
went,
be easier to chase corporate dollars for sponsorship rather than chasing a manufacturer, I would imagine.
yeah. Well, there's different ways you can
Well,
get there,
there's just a broader market of money at that stage.
but like when they well, they still can't. Are they still campaigning the Corolla? Like I suppose is that done?
They did, but it might be done.
Because they
Because
got backing from Toyota for that.
yeah, of course.
Because they
But that's what I'm saying.
chose a body that was a
No, well,
high selling car.
Yeah, Toyota gave them that body, and they knew that that was a team that was going to be able to pull it off. Where your smaller teams that are running Toyotas, like Gushi's team, it's smarter to put them in a developed chassis already.
Yeah.
Where with Papadakis, you can take that risk with putting him in something new and different.
Yeah.
They've proven that they can do it.
But
Yeah,
yeah.
I agree with Will saying that, you know, going for something like an Asian market and going for something like a Kia Stinger would definitely be, you'd have more luck. But I still don't know if writing your rules for some of your bigger series to hope that, you know, NFD, how many cars are factory backed? Maybe 5 or 6. So for a field of, you know, hopefully next year 32 plus, it doesn't seem all that worth it to have that as your written into your rules to suffice that when those manufacturers might still come to the party with money and bodies for cars that aren't, you know, those two companies also still sponsor NASCAR.
Yeah, but we all know NASCAR's dying. So
No, of course. Well, the fact that it's dying, but they're still in there.
Yeah.
The fact that Toyota still jumped in and put their newest car on, you know, as the body for the year.
Yeah.
So it'll be, yeah, I think the next few years will be interesting just to see if it ends up heading that way, if, you know, the car industry continues to decline in the way it's been declining. So then it ends up
Yeah.
being,
I can't imagine there's any incentive for manufacturer to get behind drifting because I don't think it's just not a big enough market.
yeah. So
It's only if they're like trying to break in somewhere somehow. So say like a completely unknown random country wanted to break into, say, America, and their easiest way was to supply a car to like a Pro 2 driver going to Pro 1. I don't know, just pick a random country like
yeah, say one of the
South
Arab
Africa,
Emirates,
whatever.
or
Yeah,
one of the Arab Emirates or something decided, oh, we've got a car, we're starting a
yeah,
car manufacturing company now, and that sort of targets our right market. Yeah,
yeah. I guess anyway, it would become like beneficial to both parties. So
yeah. But with all the talks of emissions and self-driving cars and blah 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 X Y Z, again, I think we're headed more and more away from it. So potentially more and more towards, you know, tube chassis cars
with electric motors.
potentially. So I guess we wait and we speculate and we talk shit and wait and see what Luke announces. I know he's still trying to get dates and stuff out by before they leave for the US next week. The week after next. We also this weekend they've got a big call out competition at Archie, cash grab or something like that. So if you're in Brisbane, I think it looks like there's talk of them having close to a 32 car field. So probably not sounding like a bad comp this weekend at Archie to finish off their year.
Especially for some cash before Christmas, anyway.
Yeah.
So you probably see a lot of people actually pushing hard to win that money.
Yeah. Well, and the fact that then straight into off season, so
Yeah,
no
and I think they're
days.
close to 2 months, aren't they?
Yeah, a month and a half. So
yeah,
if you're in Brisbane, get to Archerfield this Sunday. It's called Grab a Grand. So fairly cheap competition actually. $100 to enter, $140 if you do practice as well, and yeah, no qualifying call outs and draws for battles. So and then I'm pretty sure all cash money goes back to the drivers. So yeah, be around for that. Any other topics you want to cover, or are we gonna cut this at a sensible length after our shit talk for an hour and a half?
No, I've got nothing. Not yet. Anyway, maybe next time.
Yeah. if Luke's got dates and stuff worked out by next week before he's headed away and he's got time, we might try and grab him for some talk and not pure speculation.
Yeah. We'll
I think you could.
Actually, I'm surprised he hasn't joined us because he usually jumps in the chat and talks some shit in there.
Tells us we're stupid. Nah, he's busy vlogging, so.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
All right, well, let's wrap this one up. And if Luke's not around, then I don't know if we'll do anything next week. And then the following 2 Wednesdays after that are Christmas and New Year's, so fucking not doing that shit then. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, if anything exciting happens, then we'll do something next week. But this might be our last one for the year. It might not be our last one for the year, so we shall let you know, or not let you know. Sit at your computer next Wednesday. I'm fine.
Just sit there and wait for us. All right, that's it.
Yep, that's it.
All right, all done. Okay, I guess we might see you next week or next year.
See you in the new year, potentially.
See yous.
Bye.